Hey, what's up, everybody? We are 2 days out from Endgame 2020, and I'm just popping out a quick video this morning. I'm going to be putting out some more stuff later today, but this one is just some of the clips that I missed that I wanted to put up of David Icke. And there's one of Carl Sagan that I'm having a hard time finding. I'll try to get that up. I will be putting up a clip of Jordan Maxwell when I was trying to explain to you about him breaking down the English language. You can see that the language itself, like I said, is by a design of something deeper than what you pretty much knew, or at least I didn't. When I heard the stuff that he was saying, it completely blew me away. And then I'm also going to be later on posting some stuff from Alex Collier talking about densities, because you guys need to understand that, and how when he was talking about aliens, different densities of alien species and how they can't interact with other realms, I guess is what you would say, because of the density. So the fact that, and I'm going to show the thing, I'll show the clip where how I figured out the 172, the number, and how the about a week and a half ago, behind the eclipse, when the eclipse was happening, there was a density that was never seen before, which was 172. It just seems very odd that here's this man talking about density. I said that I had an alien experience 3 days after an eclipse, and then now, 3 years later, here's another eclipse, and then now we're having that 172 density that happened. So I'll be explaining that too.
Years ago, today's mighty oak is just yesterday's nut that held its ground, long enough for perceptions to change. Can you remember who you were before the world told you what you should be? Can any of us remember that? When we're born into a world, and from day one we're told who we are, what we should do, what reality is, what we should aspire to, what we should oppose, all of it. Just a program. Awaken, awaken, awaken. Awaken from the program. And what's the first stage of that? The very first stage. Leonardo da Vinci had it. All great acts of genius began with the same consideration. Do not be constrained by your present reality. Because if we're constrained by a present reality, we're going, yeah, truth, academic school, work, yes, death, I'm out of here now. I'm going round and round and round and round. That's all you can do unless you cease to be constrained by your reality and break out of that circle and look elsewhere. When you can see through the illusion, you are the solution. Because then the illusion ceases to have power over you and your perception of self and reality. Is this real life or is this fantasy? It is fantasy, because it's all an illusion on a scale that we would beg a belief if we didn't see the evidence to back it up. But this is crucial. I'm going to be talking as the day goes on about how this world's manipulated to what end. Deep, deep, deep in the rabbit hole. And that, when I started on this journey, it was a very lonely place. There were very few people walking on it anywhere in the world. Long time ago, 25 years. And there are now very large numbers of people, fantastic, great, wonderful, putting this information out about the manipulation, but on certain levels. I would just say to them that we're never going to, A, find the true nature of what's happening, or the answer to bringing it to an end, unless we appreciate the nature of reality itself. Because at the inner core of those who are manipulating this world, they understand what reality is and thus how to manipulate it.
So you've got a court. The whole idea in a court is a game to put the ball back in the other guy's court. And the judge is going to rule from the bench. The word bench is a Latin word for a bank. So he's ruling for the bank. Why? Because somebody's going to have to pay their debt to society. Somebody's going to pay. When the day is over, somebody's going to lose and they're going to pay. And the judge doesn't care because he's getting paid anyway, so he doesn't care. He's a referee. That's why he wears a black robe. And when the judge walks out, everyone rises. Why? The same reason when a Catholic priest walks out, everyone rises, because the Catholic Church operates under the same maritime admiralty law as a court in America. That's why in Catholic churches you always see 3 steps going to the altar. Those are the first 3 steps of the first degrees of Freemasonry, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd degree. Once you're on the 3rd, you get in the 3rd degree. Now you're going before the judge. It's the 3 degrees of Masonry. So then now you bring in the occult world of Freemasonry, all the secret societies of the Knights Templars, the World Bankers, the religious orders. All of this stuff is connected thousands of years ago that you don't know anything about. And once you start seeing how in court the judge rules from the bench, which a bench is a Latin word for a bank. And where do you find banks if they're on both sides of a river? They're called river banks. What does a river bank do if it doesn't direct the flow of the current? See? Because your money is called currency. Because it's the cash flow, the liquid assets, the juice. And either you got it or you don't. Money goes through your hands like water. No, money is water. Maritime admiralty. Money, there are only 2 things on the earth. There are only 2 things on this globe. There's land and water. So we have 2 kinds of law. The ancient Romans set this up, and they said we only have 2 kinds of law. The law of the land and the law of water. The law of the land is the custom of the people who live on a particular piece of land. That's always different. So the law of the land is different everywhere. You can do things in Russia you can't do here, because the law of the land is different here. You can do things in South America you can't do in China, because the law of the land is different. The people live on the land. So the law of the land is the law of the culture that lives on that piece of land. But the law of water, no, water is the same everywhere. The law of water is the law of money. It's called maritime admiralty, the law of money. So you can get a credit card in China and go to South Africa for vacation. It doesn't matter. We're just talking money now. And banks are banks all over the world. So we're just talking money. Either you got it or you don't. So it doesn't matter what color you are, what race. Do you have the money? You know, the credit card. So when you understand that the money is the law of water, let me give you an example of commerce in water. When a ship pulls into harbor, a ship is always female. Always a ship is female by law. Sailing ship, rocket ship, doesn't matter. If it's a ship, it's female. Why? Because she delivers the product. Okay? Without her, you don't have any product. So she is a term which is used for all ships. And so when the ship pulls into a harbor, it pulls in with, say, $800 million worth of Toyotas. Every one of those cars or televisions or whatever's coming in must have its own certificate of manifest, because yesterday the ship wasn't here. This morning they come to work and there's a ship here with $800 million worth of TVs. So it has manifested. So on the ship, she brought in $800 million worth of business. So she came in on water. Well, where the ship parks is at the dock. And where the ship sits is called its berth. She is sitting in her berth, right? And she is producing a maritime admiralty product because she came in on water. So therefore, each product has to have its own certificate of manifest, because she is giving birth to a product. So therefore, when you were born, you came out of your mother's water. Her water broke. And by law, you are considered a maritime admiralty product. She delivered you in the delivery room. She delivered the product. And so you came out of water, you're a maritime admiralty product, so you have to have a birth certificate. And the birth certificate's got to be signed by the dock, because that's where the ship is sitting, at the dock. So once you understand the words and the terms, and if you're born dead, if you're still born, then they just lost the TV, because take a car off and it falls down, yeah. And so you got to, if you're on the car, on the television, whatever it is, how much does it weigh? What color is it? You know, does it have air conditioning? Is it 2-door, 4-door? Is it Mexican, or is it some other race of people? How much does it weigh? Does he have both eyes? Yeah. Does he have 5 fingers? Yes. And how much does he weigh? What color is he? Those are all the vital signs for a maritime admiralty product, because for God's sake, they're going to sell you. They want to know, does this kid have 2 feet or what? Because if he doesn't, I got to have to pay for it. So you are a maritime admiralty product, and therefore you are being bought and sold around the world today. And if you could get your original birth certificate back, the original, not the certified copy, get the original one back, you will see on all birth certificates at the bottom, this is a security document, goes directly to the Department of Commerce. And from the Department of Commerce, they put that directly out into the stock market of New York City, and now people are buying and selling your body, and you don't even know it. You're worth $6.5 to $7 million right now, and you didn't even know it on the New York Stock Exchange.
And there you go. Like I said, you know, David Icke, he said that he was on a hill one day. I'll try to see if I can get that footage and put it up before tomorrow maybe. But he said he was on a hill one day, just doing his normal, you know, thing on vacation or whatever, and his mind was unlocked, which is pretty much what happened to me in my school. So something happened, some alien intervention happened, unlocked his mind, but I don't think he'll actually come out and say that. However, he exposed like a whole bunch of stuff, like it was like nothing, and then all of a sudden when you listen to the stuff he's saying, you're just like, wow, then it clicks, and you're like, this, you know, how come I never knew this? How come nobody's talking about it? And because his mind was unlocked. The same thing with Jordan Maxwell, which he'll never say, but when you listen to him, you can tell that his mind was unlocked. He's talking about a bunch of stuff that we should have already figured out. It's just so basic. It's like, how did we not put these 2 and 2 things together? How did we not connect the dots on this? Well, because his mind was unlocked to share this information, just like Nikola Tesla's mind was unlocked. There are certain people this happens to. Doesn't mean that I don't think that I'm special or anything like that, but my mind was unlocked and I was able to expose the 1972 glitch, the 2020 glitch, and the generations glitches, as well as there's some other things too. But anyhow, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will try to get up a few more videos today before the day's out.